Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel Hoffman. I own and operate Turn of the Century Antiques in Denver, Colorado, and I am the creator of the Virtual Doll Convention. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. It's so great to have you and to see you today. How are you doing? First of all, I always want to know how you're doing. So give me a comment on just what's going on, how you're doing, what's going on with your projects, how you're feeling, what you're looking forward to, maybe something that is bugging you and you'd like some community input, just whatever it is. Never feel like you can't post something in the comments if you feel called to. So always feel free to share and to post. So hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So wonderful to see you. So I am here live at the doll shop right now out here in Denver, Colorado, where I live. And it's been very, very, very hot here. Let me know where it's been for you guys. So if you're, let me know. I think it's mostly hot for everybody right now, pretty much. So I am here. I'm finishing up my iced coffee. If you've got a beverage this morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are, let me know. Celia's in San Jose. I will be going to San Jose on Thursday. I'll be flying into San Jose and then we'll be driving down to Pacific Grove to visit the doll uncles and to film for the summer fling and do all of our things that we're going to be doing with our summer fling, which is just coming up and so exciting and so everything. So very exciting. So as we're going in for the summer fling and everything that's going on, I kind of was thinking about just maybe doing a little video, chatting with you guys a little bit on how I make it work. And it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be what you're thinking of how I make it work. It's going to be kind of an overall way of how I make it work from day to day. We have a lot going on in this world. There are so many things that are happening or not happening, and things that as a human being we're dealing with a lot. And with me, I try and share everything. So I share everything from my ups and my downs to the grief, to the triumphs and the great things that happened that day, or maybe a silly thing or a funny thing or how I'm feeling. And that has been extremely liberating for me just over the years to get to that place of vulnerability and sharing, where I can share on a level that for some you might read it or see it and it seems like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's sharing that aspect of her life or how she feels. But for a lot of people that read it and hear it and have gone through this journey with me, what we're feeling and what is happening is universal. So I have gone through my own set of things that have gone on in my life where I've shared a lot about it. But when I share about how I made it through or what happened that day or tools for how I was able to navigate a time in my life, it helped a lot of people that were going through the same, not the same exact thing, but maybe something. So I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of things in life like grief are very universal, or like wanting to tackle a project but not doing it and then finally doing it and it feels so good. So there's just a lot of things that we experience as a community and as human beings, and especially people in the doll and teddy bear community that have a lot of parallels. And so I was just going to talk about some of those things today. So if you're here, leave me a comment, tell me that you're here, and especially share the video. You can also ask me any questions. So if you have any questions for me on how, where, why I've been able to do certain things or whatever it is, I'm always happy to share. So if you feel called to ask me whatever, feel free. So good to see you guys. So for me, one of the things that is a big deal in my life, and please share with me if you have a morning routine, but one of my biggest things is a morning routine. And that routine starts for me with, I get up, I let the dogs out immediately. And then I love to make some iced coffee. I take my vitamins, and then I do a walk on the treadmill. And while I watch the news or just have something kind of in the background, and then I also respond to a lot of comments and messages while I'm on that treadmill. And I usually do about 45 minutes to an hour. And that time helps keep my mind clear. It helps just kind of get me going for the day. It helps get my blood flowing. And honestly, I get a lot of my best ideas while I'm on there. It's first in the morning, my head's clear. There's a lot of mornings I don't feel like doing it. Not a lot, but certainly some, and I never regret it. So I find that when my life is not going well, or if I'm not making the kind of progress I wanted to do, or day after day, it feels funky, and it's not what's going on is not what I want to be going on. I'm not getting the vibes that I want from my life. I usually find that the first thing that is missing is my morning routine. And we do go through periods of our life where our routine is just completely gone. So, for example, after my mother died, I did not do my morning routine for 6 weeks to the day. But then when I was finally able to get back on the treadmill and kind of do my thing and allow myself to plan and to dream and to start posting content again where I could have those comments to respond to and to just have that kind of community, when I got back into that, it felt so good. So if you don't have a morning routine, it can start with something really small of just a set thing that you do each day, but make it something positive. I also like to drink water first thing in the morning, because after you've been sleeping, you're dehydrated, and water really helps wake you up. So before I drink that coffee on the treadmill, and it's iced coffee, by the way, usually, I have water, let the dogs out, do the treadmill. So morning routine. Another thing is sleep. Sleep is so incredibly important. And when I don't have sleep, it messes up literally everything. And so if you can work on sleep, there's a lot of different ways that you can help facilitate sleep. And for me, staying in the morning routine and getting up at the same time, which is about 5:30 in the morning, helps a lot. And I was never like this before. I was never like this in my teens or even in my 20s. But as I've gotten older, and as my business and the things that I want to do have become increasingly more important to me, that's when I started a routine and more of the things that are more health-minded than staying up late and kind of goofing off. But I know a lot of you do stay up late and sleep all day. You know, it doesn't matter what schedule you're on, but having a routine helps. So with everything that's going on with just, my gosh, the news and all the different, how things change every single day and just what's going on out there, it can be just a scary time. It can be a really scary time to be a person in this world. And all of us are navigating uncharted waters on what to do. So for myself and for my business, it's been just an eye-opening experience to decide how to run, especially like a retail store, how and what to do. And along with that, I've had to deal with a lot of other things that I deal with every single day, which through a lot of your counsel, a lot of you have shared that you know what I'm going through with the loss of my mother too is something that just doesn't go away ever. And so I have to deal with it, and I have to live in a way that is how I want to live and how I want to be the person I want to be while still going through that. And, you know, I never feel bad tearing up in front of you guys because it's just how it is. It's just how it is. It's just how life is. And I can't do it. I can't I can't talk about her without feeling that way. And it's just how I feel. And so one of the things that is really important is to honor how you feel. And so one of the biggest ways that I have made it work is to honor how I feel. And so there are certain times, and it happens, and it doesn't happen as much anymore, but there are times a lot in my day, and it'll be on certain days, not every day, but it'll be on certain days or whatever, that my heart doesn't allow certain things. And so my advice for you is to honor that. So, and don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty about it. I used to have to say yes to everything and to please everybody and to answer emails right away and to always do the right thing all the time. And I would be answering and doing things at night on a Sunday and all kinds of things. Or I would, sometimes make up excuses why I couldn't do something instead of just saying what was really going on, which is my heart doesn't allow it. So if you're going through something and there's something else going on, it's okay to say my heart doesn't allow it. That's one thing that has really helped me navigate through what I'm trying to do. So some days I can do all of the things, all of them. It's amazing what I can get done in a day and how many emails I can respond to and the content that I can create and the ideas that I can come up with and everything that I can do. And then some days I can only do my bare minimum. And so one of my biggest tips for how to make it work, and I have some things written down, is when I feel energetic, then give your energy where it matters. So when I wake up and I feel like I can do all of the things and I know it's one of those days where I can just do it all. And that sometimes happens for like 5 or 6 or weeks on end, actually. When I was restoring this store, which I'm only about a third of the way through our project, but I woke up every day feeling like I could do it. But when you wake up and you feel like you have the energy to do and to go and to do those certain things, put it where it matters. So just put it where it matters. So when you wake up and you have that surge of tiger blood and you feel like you can do it that day, have a little checklist of all those little things that you've always wanted to do and start doing them. And it doesn't have to be like trips to Egypt, which we can't even do right now, but just the little things in our house of the little things that are just maybe that little sock drawer that just kind of bugs you, but you've never done it. Just do it. On the days where you wake up and you have that, just put it where it matters. And that can be to your family, that can be to your business, that can be to so many different things, but you don't have to be, success isn't measured. For me, success is not measured by how much money I am making. It is not measured by how many dolls I got listed that week or how beautiful I looked or what kind of clothes I was wearing. All of those things make me feel good, which is why I do them. But it's not how I measure my success. How I measure my success is how I show up in the world and how I'm performing for myself and the people and the animals that I really care about, or how the content that I created did help somebody else that day. So just take it from me. You don't have to create a checklist of all the material things that you did that day or whatever to be a successful person. You can be successful just by being you. In fact, you already are successful because you're you. one time somebody asked me, she was saying something, it was really hard to get to where she wanted to go, and she just didn't know if she was, how or when she was ever going to succeed. And I said, you've already succeeded because you're you. That's the first thing you got to do. And when you start embracing your you-ness, it's just amazing the things that you can accomplish, because then you don't have to worry about what other people think about you, or other people's judgments about you, or anything like that. I used to really care about what people were saying about me, what they thought and stuff like that. And now I realize that when people have things to say about me that aren't sometimes the nicest or the kindest thing, I realize that it's all about them. It has nothing to do with me. It is all about them. And so when you come to that and you can kind of liberate yourself of that, it feels really good. So if any of this is resonating with you, please feel free to pop in your comments and let me know maybe your story or what has happened to you with the same kind of thing, or some of the secret tips to your success and how you make it work for you. So when you feel energetic, give yourself to the things that mattered. And on the same time, so on the exact end of on the other end of the spectrum is that when you feel tired, it's really important to let your body rest. So I have been working a lot. Don't get me wrong. Probably too much. My dad, who used to be a workaholic, he's not so much anymore at 71. He has been encouraging me to take some time off from the shop and to just get away and to do something else. It is kind of hard to do that, especially during the pandemic, because I can't just go and say, oh, I'm going to go for the weekend to here or there. But me being at the shop and as much work as I am pouring into my projects, and the shop is also very cathartic for me. It makes me feel like I'm doing something. And sometimes you just have to do that. But when you are tired, it's very important to also honor your body and to rest. So take it from me, as a person that also does have to perform to be able to pay my bills and to do what I need to do. I have to hustle on a weekly basis to generate income and to do everything that I have to do. But at the same time, if I start going too much and I just push myself and I don't honor that little itch that's inside of me that's saying you're going a little too much, and to just take some time for that bubble bath, or to do something for you where you answer a letter or call a friend, or just chill, or watch your favorite TV shows while eating your favorite snack. It's okay to do all of those things. It's okay to have comfort food. So when you are taking care of yourself, this is a really big tip on how I make it work, is to remind myself that taking care of myself is being productive. Repeat after me with that one. Taking care of myself is being productive. Remember that. That is a huge tip. That is a huge way that I make it work. Is taking care of myself is being productive. Okay, so another one of the ways that I have made it work, especially with everything that has happened in this last year, and just for the last year, Eloise says, or just go play with dolls. Oh man, that's a huge one. Yes, taking time out of your day to just go play with dolls. You don't have to be doing anything productive. You can just look at them, play with them, change their dress around, just enjoy, look at the new shoes. Playing with your dolls is a huge way to de-stress and to feel really good. It's an instant elixir to just make you feel so much better, for sure. That is a good one. And I do that in the shop a lot. I rearrange and I just kind of have fun. And I sit there and I dream and I play and I think about what I'm going to do with the case that day, or remember what I said in my last video? I didn't get to where I am right now without thinking about it. So sometimes you can just sit there and just think about it. You don't have to call all the contractors and order the wallpaper today, but you can think and dream about it. I was sitting there thinking and dreaming about wallpaper way before I ever found the people and ordered it and all that stuff. So play with your dolls. That's a huge one. And manifest and think about things. Another tip that has been really instrumental for me in the last year, and especially the last 3 months, is not letting fear of the future hold me back. Okay, let's say that one out loud. I will not let fear of the future hold me back. You can imagine after everything that I had going on and inheriting this, I have already been running the company for many years, probably like 4. But it's a different kind of thing with just everything that was going on, and then knowing everything was resting on my shoulders, and then having just a lot of thoughts about how things were going to work in the world, thinking about never traveling after having taken almost 40 flights last year to run my company. And there's just all kinds of thoughts about everything that I needed to do and how I was going to do it, and the fear of the future, and how can I do this without my mom? How can I, fear of the future. Eloise just said faith, not fear, for sure. So don't let fear of the future hold you back. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next several months in this world. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next several years. Just around the bend at every corner in life, things change for the good, for the worse sometimes. And I'm just prepared for whatever will be. So, for example, when I ordered 600 Robert Tonner Grace dolls, that was before anything happened. It was last year. Did I know any of this was going to happen? Was that a huge bill? Yes, all of these things, yes, but you just gotta go for it sometimes. And if I sat around and I worried about all the what ifs of everything that could happen in the world or in life, I probably wouldn't even be able to get out of bed. So what I try to focus on every day is just what I need to do that day. And that comes down to the non-negotiables. So every day I do my non-negotiables. So here's another big tip. Figure out what your non-negotiables are, which are things that are non-negotiable that you can't take off the table, even if you're having a bad day or a hard day. And for me, my non-negotiables are taking care of the people and the animals around me. So when I get up and if I'm having just a really hard time, I'm still always going to feed my dogs. I'm still always going to say good morning to Derek and pack his lunch. I'm still always going to do certain things that are just non-negotiable. I am running a company and I have people that depend on me. So I know on a monthly basis exactly what I need to generate to be able to pay all of my employees and to pay all of the bills that I have for here and my house. So I figured out, especially during when the pandemic started and when I was looking at after my mother died, I kind of went through some times where I felt like I can't do this. I can't. And so I figured out, and for a while there, I couldn't. I spent a lot of time just doing what I needed to do, which was just getting through the day. I was not creating content. I was not launching new products. I was not listing dolls on eBay. I was reading cards that were sent in the mail. I was just doing the very bare bones. And so I figured out financially the bare minimum of what I needed. And that took a lot of pressure off. So instead of thinking I need to make all this money and do all these things and sell all these dolls and also buy all these dolls and just get in this whirlwind of like everything that I had to do, I just figured out my bare minimum. of what I needed to bring in to pay my electric bill, to pay my water bill, to pay my mortgage, pay my employees, and stuff like that. And then I realized it just, when I figured out what my bare minimum in life was, then there was a lot of pressure taken off. Because believe me, most of the time I'm shooting way above the bare minimum in every aspect of my life. I'm usually like way up here. But when you figure out what your bare minimum is, then when you're having a tough time and you feel like you just can't do all the things, you just remember what your minimum is, which is feeding my dogs, taking care of my people, having groceries in the house, and just making sure everyone around me is paid and that I'm paying my electric bill. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to do the bare minimum. I know that sounds strange, but that helped me a lot, especially in the last several months. And I still have days where I'm like, I wake up, I kind of feel out my day, I do my morning routine, and then you start to just feel it, and I know it's going to be a bare minimum day. But sometimes I've had bare minimum months. It's okay. I'm telling you, it's okay. So that's a big one right there. So that and when I say don't let the future hold you back, that also applies to if you're tending a broken heart. So if you have grief, or you have really hard things that are going on, or you've had a substantial loss, it's really hard to think about the future without that person or that animal in it. So, man, you guys know what I mean too. So, don't fear the future. It's easy to let it, but that's one of the biggest things for me. It's just fearing, how am I going to go on? How am I going to do this? Maureen said, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Well, yeah, stupid isn't my favorite word, but I have heard that before. But keeping it simple is very important. It's very important. And when I say the bare minimum, it is like the simple things, which is feeding yourself. It's important to feed yourself. Put that into your bare minimum. If you're having a hard week, I don't want to see any of you losing like 10 pounds because you sat there and you didn't eat. I make sure when I'm doing my bare minimum also to get the bare minimum of nutrients in my body and water and stuff like that. So make sure your bare minimum is still honoring you. Let's see. So another one is just let yourself be in the moment. So wherever you are in this moment, let yourself be there. When you're having a really tough time, or the anxiety starts to creep in, or things seem just like too much or overwhelming, you're probably at a really high place of anxiety, or like way up here, thinking again about all the things. Isla said, keep it simple, sweetie. I love that. Way better. Keep it simple, sweetie. So good. So good. So take yourself down from that high place of anxiety and worrying, and think about today. So if you are, Susie just said, I'm so scared for my grandchildren. I understand. I would like to have children someday. And I think about that too, about just like, what's happening in the world? Is this a good time to bring a child into the world? Do I wait? If I wait too long, will all the things. But that's again is fear of the future. So what I try to do is just think about how I can be successful in today. And that can start very simply with taking a shower, putting on, for me, it makes myself, yesterday I didn't wear any makeup to work because I just didn't feel like it. But today I wanted to. So it's about honoring you and just not making yourself do anything that your heart doesn't allow. So it's really nice to be in a position, if you are, to be able to make those choices. I do understand when you can't and when you have to do certain things. And I do that as well. So just so you know, there's certain projects and appointments and things that I have to do and commitments that I have made where if I just don't feel like doing it that day, that's not going to work. So there's tons and tons of times where I do have obligations, but I remember that I put myself into that position. So I am the architect of my own life. So any of the stuff that I have to handle, especially being like a business owner, or the stressful things that I have to figure out from day to day, or when things go wrong and it's my responsibility to figure out and fix it, I just remind myself that I created this. Like this is what I ultimately wanted. So that helps sometimes. That helps. So if you guys are here with me, feel free to chime in. If you have any questions about how I make it work, or what I do, I'm always happy to share. I will be doing later on in the month a day in the life. So, and that's a YouTube challenge where they asked a lot of content creators to create a day in the life. So it's fun. So let's see. Becca said, I think you're kicking so much butt, but I got to say it's refreshing to hear others that are successful say they need a bare minimum day. I think that can be hard to do. Yes, I think it is hard to do, because in this society, we're measured so much on how much we produce. And when I say that, that means like money we produce, or days we did X, Y, and Z, and things like that. So, thank you for looking at me and thinking I am successful. I try to every day be successful and do what I need to do. But a lot of days look like, for me, sometimes people are surprised that I'm the one that answers the emails, or I take out a lot of trash around here. I'm constantly sweeping and vacuuming and doing things and stuff. So it's not as glamorous as it appears. And I'm also not doing all of these things that can kind of, when I share that today we moved a semi, and then we moved a shed, and I'm creating a fulfillment center for my Grace dolls and all that stuff, that can also be the next day I do the absolute bare minimum. There are days, and I am so thankful that I have this, I can do this as the owner of the company. But there are some days when and we have new carpet here, which is nice, but I just lay on the floor. Sometimes I have to be here. I can't just sit home in bed and and I have to be here because the people that are here depend on me and ask me a lot of questions throughout the day, and I have to make a lot of decisions on fabrics and what projects and dolls to do next. But sometimes if I'm having a really tough time, I just go and lay on the floor, sometimes for a couple hours, and I just stare at the ceiling. So sometimes you just got to. You can't be all the things all the time. Now, when I know I have something coming up that I have to be all the things all the time, I mentally prepare. So this Thursday, I'll be flying to California for the summer fling, which I am so excited. Everything is going to be just so incredible. And when I'm going to be there, it's ready to rumble. I will be literally on all the time, working around the clock. But it's something that I have worked so incredibly hard on that it doesn't matter for me how late I stay up or what I do and how hard I'm working, because I am so excited to have it actually unfold and happen. But when I come home from those kind of trips, that's when I take some time to actually decompress, stare at the ceiling, and just kind of let it out of me. You know what I mean? So I hope it helps for me to just give you guys a little tips on, you don't have to just be everything. You can do the bare minimum. And then maybe the next day you can do all the things. I find that if I allow myself to have the days where I am feeling down, where I do feel sad, where I am bummed about what I'm seeing, and I just kind of acknowledge it and let it be in me for what it is, and just slow down, it really helps me with the next day of being able to do a lot more, which helps a lot. So you know, just remember your heart beats over and over. And remember what I said about grief and life and navigating and going through. You're that river. And when we look at a river that's just a little tiny trickle, we don't think of it as any less of a river than a river that's going full force and full steam and has all this water and people are canoeing on it and it's got waves and all these things, or just a tiny little beautiful trickle that's just going through the rocks, and it is calm and it is what it is. So, what do you feel capable of doing in the next hour? I want to know that. So if you're here with me, let me know what you feel capable of doing in the next hour. So for me, I am going to get some shipping together. I am going to pack the rest of the things that I need to get ready for the summer fling. I'm going to go and answer some emails and just do some things right there. And then I have, I believe Linda's coming today. So we're going to do some doll stuff, and I'm going to make a checklist and just kind of get ready and just mentally start preparing for everything that I need to do. I also put reminders in my phone throughout the day of like one just popped up on my phone and it said send deposit to window company, because I'm getting the window over here replaced and I have to send them a deposit to get on their schedule. So just stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So let me know what you feel like you can do in the next hour. And if that's just sitting there and enjoying your day and your coffee and not doing anything and just having some tea and having a piece of pizza or whatever it is, good. Good. It can be anything you want. So never be afraid to tell me, girl, I did the bare minimum today, because I understand. Julie said I'm going to finish a letter to my mom, do my exercises, and then clean up around the house. That is awesome. That sounds good. So let me know what you're going to do or not do in the next hour. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoy this kind of content, definitely give me a share and a thumbs up and subscribe to me on YouTube. That helps me a lot. And I'm gonna go do my thing for the next hour. So I love you guys to the moon and back. And thank you so much for being with me today. I'm also gonna show you the rest of my outfit because I got a little surprise for you. So hang on. All right. And if you're excited about the summer fling like Susie is, let me know. I'm excited. Oh, we got so much going on. I'm really excited for the sleepover. Michael's going to be in a onesie. So I've heard. Not sure if it's true. Guess you're going to have to tune into the summer fling to find out. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.